Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Layla, the Lenormand reader, and I use the amazing Lenormand deck. Welcome to your weekly reading. We are doing an extended line of 5 today with the Zen deck. So let's go ahead and start with you, Aries, and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Aries, here is your extended line of 5. This is really pretty. There is a focus on love. We have the heart in the middle, and we have the ring and moon on either side of the heart. And on top of that, we have the sun and moon next to the heart, and the rest of the cards are really bright. So it's hard not to see it as love and feelings. So if you are in a relationship, or you are going to be in a relationship, or there is a relationship in the works, it is looking like it's on the right track, and it's a very beautiful set of cards here. So the heart in the middle is, in and of itself, it tends to be associated with love, but more generally, more loosely, it tends to be about feelings. So it's the other cards with the heart that really bring this out. Earlier in the line, we have the lily and sun. So the lily is more on the neutral side, but it is a card of slowness. First of all, actually both the lily and tree are slower cards, and actually so are the ring and moon. And so there is a sense of ease and peace that we see in the cards, especially with the rest of the beautiful messages here. The lily is also a card of life path and the long term, so it tends to suggest things that are a bit on the more serious side, the more steady side. So that's great for our long-term relationship. And it can be associated with career. So if this is about work for you or your career path in general, these are also great cards. Although I think that the main theme coming through here is really focused on love and relationships. So the sun, heart, and clover, these are all around happy, wish-fulfilling cards. Things are working out in the way that you want. The clover is sometimes a little bit unpredictable. It is in my experience. And so the way things progress might not be exactly how you had thought, but they are certainly on the right track. And the tree is a card of steadiness and centeredness. It also has a great sense of well-being and wisdom. So these are really nice cards for the relationship, for working on your longer term goals. You are definitely on the right track. Again, the tree and lily are slower cards, so if things are moving slower, that is fine, and I would say enjoy the process because it sounds like things are really sweet. So these are some really nice cards. Now the ring and moon on either side of the heart, like we said at the outset, these are very much about love and relationships, and this is a lovely connection. I think there's a lot of chemistry, there's a lot of understanding, and the connection is genuine, and so it sounds really like it's really whole, and it feels really good. And like I said, I feel this is mostly about love and romance, but in another relationship, these are still really, really good cards. We can also look at the diamonds. The inner diamond, we have the sun and moon together, and this is a pair that usually represents love. And on top of this, we have the ring and clover. So beautiful for the relationship. Definitely, Aries, this is a message to stick with the relationship and to give to the relationship. And it applies even if it's not related to love. The lily with the ring, tree, and moon is also lovely. Like we said, these are slower cards. The lily and tree are over several months, and the moon tends to be a month because of the phases of the moon. But they have like a soft, gentle, slower energy. So definitely allow this relationship to unfold and to take its time. And also it sounds like you sort of want to absorb it, like you want to dwell in it and enjoy the sweetness, because this is a lovely, lovely connection that we're seeing here. So let me know how you like these ideas, Aries. I certainly hope this relationship materializes for you in this way. I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Thank you for tuning in. Very best of luck with the week. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Taurus. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's deal out your cards and see what is in store for you. Okay, Taurus, here is your extended line of 5, and when I see the snake and cross on this side and the fox at the top here, the first thing that comes to mind is that you could be trying to get out of something, and maybe you should, and so you're going to try to figure out a way to turn something down or just move away from it. The ship in the middle is a card of projects and ambitions, and it's a really good card for forward movement and pursuing your goals. But obviously with the snake and cross and with the fox at the top, you could be putting into question certain elements, or perhaps you want to get out of something in order to move into a direction that is better for you. And if it's not a complete move or a big change, it could be an adjustment that you need to make in order to, to accommodate the things that you want to do. Now, earlier, we have generally good cards. We have the heart and letter, and this would point to some good news. And with the ship here, you could be invited to pursue some project, or maybe even travel if that's what's figuring for you. But the line is definitely not complete without the snake and cross, and the snake and cross change a lot what is going on here. So there could be a couple of scenarios. Since the snake and cross suggest moving away and having to make a decision in this regard, it's possible that either you have an opportunity here that you want to pursue and you're not sure how to go ahead and do this right now. It can involve changing a little bit what you're doing, or moving away from what you're doing or from certain people. And that is what you need to assess and what you need to maneuver. But it's also possible, Taurus, in another scenario, that you have to sort of put up with the current situation. And that's because the cross can be a card of burdens. So if this is about, people wanting you to stay, they're nice to you, the heart and letter points to good messages and good communication, but you yourself, you're not really into this, you might have to make yourself stick with it for a little while, which is what we see through the snake and cross. So these are possible. Sort of a similar suggestion can come through with the fox, because the fox and snake have a lot in common. And we have the ship and tree here. So the ship and tree adds to this idea, because the tree is about staying. And so with the ship, it points to, sticking with the current path. I feel that with the fox and snake, you're not really into this right now, Taurus. It might not be your favorite thing to do, but it sounds like you could bear with it a while longer, or at least within the week, and after that, see what happens. I do think also, Taurus, that it's important that you keep things to yourself. So don't show like you are not interested. Just sort of play it nice and stick with it as much as you can. The letter with the fox, snake, and tree is definitely news that you need to either keep under your hat or also watch out for, because the fox and snake, especially together, they're going to highlight a trap or a scam or something that is not correct, something that is not right. So you have to read between the lines, and you certainly want to take your time with this. Now, in the other scenario, like we said, it's possible that you've got an opportunity here, but you need to maneuver how you take advantage of it. Maybe you have to sit on it, you have to wait for the right time. So really, the fox, snake, and cross, they really temper the momentum and the opportunity that we see through the earlier cards. So you've got good news, you've got ideas, but I don't think you can act on them just yet, Taurus. You really have to either plan how you're going to do this, or you have to deal with the current situation. You have to bear with it a while longer. And you have to, through this process, keep things to yourself and, fix your strategy properly before you take action. So I'm not seeing strong action. We're seeing input and ideas, but the idea here is that you need to wait on this a little bit longer. The heart, fox, cross, and tree adds to this. Again, the tree and cross suggests bearing with it a while longer, and the heart and fox can suggest a sense of half-heartedness, although the heart and tree are really positive. So again, there is something that you want to do. You probably have an opportunity to do this, but you can't jump on it right now, Taurus. You have to plan things out. You have to strategize before you act on this. So I would say take the week to do this, and don't be rash in any way. Slow things down and assimilate everything from all directions before you take an action. Yes, the fox and snake are a bit challenging, and the cross can be a bit heavy, but I'm not seeing dramatic cards. I think this is more about planning things and dealing with them in a wise way. And the area in which this figures, I feel it's more about your practical life, maybe work projects and things like that. I'm not so sure about relationships. Maybe, yeah, it's possible with the heart and letter. And with the snake in this sense is not great. The snake is often about third parties, cheating and deception. So again, I don't think this is mainly about relationships, but supposing it is, that you could be learning something that is going on behind the scenes. Maybe there are some people who are interfering in your relationship, or I can't dismiss that, Taurus, you are. So, who's the third party in the triangle is flexible. But again, this is definitely about slowing things down, not acting rashly, I would say not acting at all, and just assimilating what is going on and, figuring out the strategy. So a bit of a quieter, calmer week with a lot to take into consideration, Taurus. I certainly look forward to your thoughts and feedback about this. I'd be interested to know how it resonated with you. Thank you for tuning in as always. Very best of luck with this. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello Gemini, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's do an extended line of 5 like we said with the Zen deck and see what is in store for you. Okay Gemini, here is your extended line and we have a focus on people and relationships. We have the ring, the dog and the house. We also have the birds, which is often a card of communication. So everything is fine and sort of neutral down here, but we do have the snake at the top, which can bring a warning, a deception, or it can suggest that you need to withhold something from someone and generally speaking, be discreet and tactful about a certain situation. So let's weave these cards together. Let's look first at the cross in the middle. The cross is a card of burdens sometimes. It's generally challenging. It can have a good side, but with the snake and bird, I'm not so sure the nice side of the cross comes through. Instead, this is more about an important decision that you need to make, possibly weighing things and assessing a situation with someone. It's with someone in this case. And also, Gemini, it can point to having to bear with something and having to put up with something, even if you're not really into it. So with the mountain and birds, there is either a trip or contact with someone who's a bit farther from where you are. But what's also possible, Gemini, is that the mountain suggests a blockage. And so there could have been a time apart with this person, but now there is contact and communication. So it sounds like you need to follow up with someone, or someone comes back into the picture, or there is contact after a bit of a time apart. The cross with the dog is an important relationship, but also, like I said, it can feel a bit of a burden on you, this communication or this connection right now. And the dog and house can suggest a meeting or having to get together with someone, or maybe they're visiting and maybe you're not in the mood of this. So this is likely what we're seeing here. Now, who the dog is, it can be something personal like a friend, it could be another kind of relationship, work related, a colleague, a customer, it could be anyone really. But the idea is that you need to follow up, or they need to follow up, and it happens, and then there's possibly a meeting. It doesn't sound super joyous, it doesn't sound like it's something you're so excited about, and with the cross in the middle, it sounds like you have to, more than anything else. Now, the snake, cross, and ring is very much about assessing the relationship. And also, Gemini, it's likely that you sort of want to move away, and there can also be some question marks around this person. So the whole energy here is not great, but it's not like you can just get out of it, okay? We've got the cross and ring. The ring is a card of commitment. We have the house here, and the cross is about, like we said, having to deal with something. So it's not the most ideal relationship. Maybe you're not in the mood of this right now, but you have to follow up and you have to deal with with what the relationship brings. So whatever it can be, it could be someone you're accountable to, something that you have to follow up on, and maybe just deal with this person. The bird with the snake, dog, and ring, again, there is a conversation here or some kind of connection, communication with these cards, but the snake, it's like, it's not great. Again, I don't think you're really looking forward to this. And also, Gemini, it definitely asks you to be quiet more than vocal. So be discreet about some things, listen to the other person, get a sense for what's going on. Normally, the ring and dog, I read as a relationship a love relationship that grows out of a friendship. I'm not so sure this is the case here, Gemini. I think here it's more of some relationship in your life, maybe more than one, maybe some people, and it's not the best of vibes, but you have to follow through and follow up. So do this calmly and be discreet about some things, especially your feelings. If you're not, don't show them you're not interested and things like that, and just sort of manage it calmly. The mountain with the snake ring and house and ring here, again, with the snake, especially with the mountain, I take this pair to suggest getting around an obstacle and sometimes going around someone's back. So there can be some people that you need to do this with, or perhaps they're doing this to you. So just be aware that there is this kind of thing going on right now. The ring and house, this would have been a nice relationship combination for strong connections, a bit like with the dog. But because of the rest of the cards, the cross in the middle, it's more about having to deal with certain people or having to live up to the commitments and the promises. So it feels a bit heavy. It's not something that you're into. The whole vibe is not so great. But I think, Gemini, you just have to stick with this until you see it through and then move past it. And in the process, just keep it to yourself. Don't show your feelings and things like that. And at the same time, Gemini, you need to be aware of certain connections and people. So don't be quick to invest yourself in anyone. Yes, follow through on your part, what you need to do, but you need to be aware that these people are not 100% authentic and things like that. Okay, there can be things going on behind the scenes, so just be aware all around. Let me know what you make of these ideas, Gemini, in what context they figured for you. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Thanks for tuning in. Best of luck with all this, and until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Cancer, let's do your weekly reading and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Cancer, here is your extended line. It's a bit challenging, but there is a very interesting thing that is happening here, is that we have the whip in the middle, and the whip is very active and outward, and it is a problematic card. It is a challenging card, but all around the whip, we have calm, quiet, and longer term kinds of cards. So the immediate contrast here is that it sounds like you need to contain something. And you need to bring something under control. Now there are ending cards as well. We have the coffin with all of these cards. It would point to the end of a phase. So it's likely that this happens after some upset or a disagreement with someone or something. But again, there is a strong contrast between the whip and all the cards around it. So you have to bring something down. You have to bring it under control. And it probably means some kind of closure. Now, I also have to say that the cards don't tell us in what context this is happening. This is really more about the dynamic and, the process of it. And it seems to be a lot about you and your path and how you move forward. So let's weave these lines and cards in turn. The Book and Tower, interesting combination here. It can mean education, knowledge, and a sense of expertise. Now, with the whip, and Lily and Coffin, which is the end of a phase, maybe you fall out of some path of learning or some path of education or practice or skill, and you decide you don't want to pursue this anymore. It can also point to a failure. Okay, I can't dismiss that. The cards are kind of challenging, and the way they're working together, it can suggest that, Cancer. So you might end your commitment to a learning path, or you might fail at it quite plainly, and you decide that you're gonna at least take a break or give it a rest or drop it. It's also possible that the Book and Tower can suggest something that you're pursuing in terms of processes, procedure, paperwork, applications, things like that. Maybe you have applications, to some jobs or some organizations for whatever kind of project or work that you're after, and you get a turned down application. So there's a no here with the whip, lilies, and coffin, and you can't pursue this any longer. So again, These are cards that suggest an ending, and because of the whip, it's not like a happy ending or something that you're closing off, but it sounds like it's something upsetting. So the most likely situation with something like that is that you're turned down, or something doesn't work out. There's some kind of failure, something falls through, and you have to drop it. That's what it sounds like. Now, I'm not seeing relationships, okay, but in case it is for you, Cancer, the Book and Tower, whoever this person or people are, they can suggest that there's no contact, and that you didn't hear back, or that there's no clear communication, and there's too much distance, and not enough sharing. So with the whip, lilies, and coffin, you decide to drop it, or you have to drop it. So there's definitely an ending, okay? And it sounds like it's not just an everyday ending, but it sounds like it's a longer term thing that needs to close off right now, because the tower, lily, tree, and cross, and the coffin, they're all slower cards, and they affect a longer time span. So it's not like an everyday thing. It sounds like at this point, a situation has to be dropped, Cancer. Now, the cross and tree on either side, they're sort of similar in what we're seeing. The cross can be about regrets and pain with a card like the whip. And the tree here is a card of wisdom and well-being. And it has a passive side as well. And so it encourages you to drop it, to let it go. And also to, I would say, forgive. Possibly, forgive yourself, forgive others, and to sort of just disconnect from this whole energy. So it's nice to see the tree in this side and the bottom, because it has a sense of rootedness and centeredness. So it can help you ground yourself again, and to be realistic about what is going on, and also to focus on yourself more. So I have to say, Cancer, this is a bit challenging, and something falls through this week, and you have to let it go, and maybe that's a good thing, although honestly, within the week, I'm not really seeing the other side of this just yet. We're seeing the process of ending. The tower with the cross, lily, and tree would have been a nice combination if we didn't have the whip in the middle. But these are definitely cards of wisdom, and they definitely affect your life in a much bigger way. So this can affect your goals, the direction that you're heading into, your long-term stability, your long-term situation and objectives. So there can be a big change, I have to say, Cancer. But it is also a message to assess and take stock and assimilate and think about what you're going to do next, and how you're going to redirect yourself after this change. The book with the cross, coffin, and tree, I think, adds to what we said so far. The book and cross is normally a combination of spirituality and religion and those sorts of things, but I don't think this is what's going on here. Instead, Cancer, I think this has to do with assessment. It has to do with trials and tests, and there can be a failure, like we said. Maybe you're not wanting to do this anymore, and we definitely see the ending with the coffin. The book and tree is another combination for knowledge, just like we saw with the book and tower. And again, maybe here you're wrapping up some kind of path of learning that you are falling out with, or that didn't work out, and you have to drop it and move on. But also, it is very much a combination of letting go and taking stock, taking a step back and assessing the whole situation. So Cancer, this can be a bit of a tough one, but I have to say there is in parallel with the whip, there is a dimension that affects your life as a whole, your spirit, your sense of guidance. So I wouldn't take this as just, the upset that is happening right now, or the failure, or the closure, or the whatever. Instead, I would take this as a sign, a big sign, that you need to look into more and to think about how it's affecting your life direction, who you are, what you do, so that you can assimilate it in the best possible ways and then redirect yourself from there. And like I said, I'm not really seeing people cards here, but in case it's a relationship, I think there's an ending. and or at least an upset, you know, of sorts. So it definitely calls for taking a step back and letting go and not forcing things and just dropping them, forgiving as much as possible, and then closing this off. And then what you do with that, I would say, take stock, spend time with yourself, assess everything, and from there see how you go. So really interesting cards, a bit challenging, but also really interesting. I look forward to your thoughts about this, Cancer. I certainly would appreciate your feedback, how it resonated with you. These are really interesting cards, and I think they're kind of special. So I'm really curious about how, you know, they apply to you. Very best of luck with this, Cancer. Thank you as always for tuning in, and until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Leo, let's do your extended line and let us see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Leo, here is your extended line, and it's looking pretty neutral, I would say. We have the clouds at the end of the line, which is a little bit challenging, and the rest of the cards are on the neutral side. So this is really presenting a dynamic. Now, we have the stork right in the middle. And the stork is a card of changes. So things can be moving this week. There can be some changes. There can be some activities. I think you could be a bit busy. We have the clouds at the end that can suggest things are a little bit up in the air and a bit confusing. So that could be part of the part of what's going on. So let's take the cards in turns. We have the lily, ring, and stork, and the lily and ring is a long-term connection normally, a committed relationship or some kind of connection. And with the stork, bear, and clouds, I have to say that there can be some big changes, and maybe there are some big activities together, or perhaps there are changes in the relationship. Maybe there are added responsibilities because of the bear, and that could sort of rock your boat a little bit. So that could be what's going on. Now, the relationship itself, it could be something in your personal life, or it could be something at work. The lily is also a card of career, so maybe that's what's going on. And so there can be a change in responsibilities, there can be some restructurings, there can be some decisions and activities here, but I think that it confuses things for the time being. So as things kick off, as changes kick off, things seem to be a little bit up in the air and a bit confusing. The anchor with the stork and garden is also a change. Normally the anchor is about staying, but because it comes before the stork and garden, it sounds like a situation that was stable, or maybe that you had been in for some time, changes. So there can be some unexpected elements that come into play. Maybe changes are not all that comfortable. You have to get out of your comfort zone a little bit. And like I said, because of the clouds, things are a little bit up in the air, and there isn't total visibility into what the new situation is going to look like. The garden is also a card of community and society and people. So this can also be a call for networking and meeting with people and reaching out. The thing about the stork in the middle is that it is proactive, and it encourages you to take steps and to take initiative to meet with people, to get together with others, and also to prepare to adapt to the changes that are going on here. Now, the ring, anchor, bear, and garden is very good for a relationship. This points to connection and trust and support. Both the anchor and bear are very strong in this sense, and we see them with the ring and garden. The ring is usually one-on-one relationships, and the garden is more global. It's like more the community or the network. But either way, these are really good cards for a relationship. So this is definitely an encouragement to tap into certain connections that you have, to get together with certain people, to ask for support, and to connect with these people for your goals, for the changes that we're seeing. The lily with the anchor, clouds, and garden is also supportive, because the lily and garden, the anchor and lily, and the anchor and garden, so any way you pair these three cards, they bring support and connection with relationships. It's only the clouds that put things into question a little bit, but again, I think we have a lot of strength and supportive card. So it's not that it compromises the relationship. I don't think so. I think instead there are things that come up, and there isn't much visibility into them. And so the idea is to tap into your support network or certain people in order to see how you can manage this. And I think it can also be exciting projects and things picking up, but maybe there are some details, and the path forward needs to be ironed out. So even if the clouds is the clouds and it's at the end of the line, I don't think it compromises the strength and the activities that we see in the earlier cards. I think it's more about figuring things out, because there are changes. They could be big changes, and they could also be exciting changes. Now, in terms of personal relationships, the cards can also be interesting. It's possible that a relationship picks up. It's possible that you have an opportunity here with someone. But again, the clouds, brings a few issues here. So I would say be patient with them, but also don't lose hope, or don't let the clouds overwhelm anything, because the rest of the cards are quite strong and supportive. So let me know what you make of these ideas, Leo. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Virgo, let's do your cards. Let's see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Virgo, here is your extended line of 5, and it's looking really bright. We have the Sun and Key on the right hand side, and these are two very happy cards. They bring success, solutions, all sorts of good things. We also have the Child in the cards, which can point to something new. And the Lily and Cross, I have to say, these are sort of bigger cards. They affect your life in a bigger way. This can be an important change, an important opportunity that affects your life in general, or your direction in general. So backing up to the Stork, Cross, and Lily, these are some important changes. I have to add, though, that the Cross can bring an element of burden. So maybe you have to do some changes here, and you don't really have a choice in this. And it can also feel that the changes are a bit difficult. But certainly with the Sun and Key, these are for the best. So the Lily, here, with these cards, it can suggest that you need to make a certain life change. You need to give up on something, maybe sacrifice something. And it can be a card of work. So there can be changes at your work that could be a bit difficult, or challenges. So there can be changes with your work or your career in general that are a bit challenging, but certainly with the Sun and Key, it's a good idea to do these changes and go for them, because they're going to bring a lot of good. And also you could get an opportunity and you need to make a decision. Maybe you get a new job or a new project, or something comes your way that you want to take advantage of. And it sounds like the Sun and Key with these bright cards, suggest that you do so. It's encouraging. Now, the Snake, Lily, and Child, this adds an important dimension here. The Child is about anything new. It can be about children, but it's about also new chapters, especially with a longer term card like the Lily. So you could be in for a new path, a new chapter, a new phase. And the thing about the Snake is that there is, the Snake is a bit challenging normally, but it has an element of discretion, and it is a card that is roundabout. So the path is not direct, and it also calls for discretion and silence, and maybe even secrecy. So you are looking at making a change, Virgo, but you have to be discreet about it, and you have to go about it in maybe a roundabout way. So this is looking like a transition here, and the way you do this is important. You have to consider how it affects your path, how it affects the situation you're in right now, and maybe also other people. We see this as well in the inner diamond. So we have the Cross, Snake, Sun, and Child. The Sun and Child is very beautiful. This brings a lovely message of a new beginning, healing, success all around. But the Cross and Snake, especially without these cards, would be a challenging pair. It can suggest challenges and difficulty and burdens, and having to do things in a roundabout way that isn't easy. But with the Child and Sun, and putting these together, there still is an element of difficulty that comes with the Cross and Snake, but it's certainly to your benefit to go with this transition and to make this new beginning happen. And also, it's important that you strategize and you have a clear, well, as much as it can be clear, a path forward. It might not be the most straightforward path, and that's fine. Deal with it, Virgo, because on the other side of this, we see some really bright messages. The stork with the snake, key, and child, I think is very much encouraging you to go for this new beginning. And again, the stork and snake suggest the indirect way forward. I also think that you need to keep it to yourself for some time until you can make the change. So again, strategy, timing, how you go about it looks to be really in focus for you. And it asks you to be calm. So not jumping the gun, not being too rash with the changes, but having some kind of strategy and then going for this new beginning. So I would say these are lovely cards, Virgo, because they bring an exciting new opportunity. It sounds like you're unlocking something, you're moving into a new phase. And so the transition can be a little bit tricky, but it's still manageable if you're willing to put up with it a little bit, if you're willing to bear with the fact that it's not going to be the most straightforward transition. It's fine, size it down and take advantage of this new opportunity. Now, in terms of relationships, I'm not really seeing relationship cards, but in case it is for you, Virgo, you're going to need to be patient, for it to sort of stick or come together. But it looks like an exciting relationship or an exciting new one or a new phase within a relationship. And it looks like, there's some really good vibes here. Again, I don't think this is the most likely area that these cards are talking about, but just in case, you're not resonating with anything other than a relationship, then these are my thoughts. So let me know what you make of this, Virgo. I hope you appreciate these cards and their positive messages. Let me know how the transition goes, or what are the tricky aspects that you need to manage here before you can take advantage of this new chapter and this opportunity. I look forward to your thoughts as always. Thanks for tuning in, Virgo. Very best of luck with the week, and until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Libra, let's see what is in store for you this week. Let's deal out this extended line of 5. Okay, Libra, here is your extended line of 5, and we have a couple of really bright cards, the star and the flowers. They're very bright, but we have the fox and scythe at the ends here, so it's going to be interesting how these cards combine. In the middle, we have the ship, and the ship is by itself a lovely card. It's great for projects. It's the card of travel as well, but it has an element of movement, and it's ambitious, and it's enthusiastic. So it's really nice to see it in the center, and it suggests that you're going to be busy with projects this week. So let's weave this line and see what the fox does in it. We've got the mountain, stars, and ship. This is actually a good combination for travel. The mountain is often associated with places abroad, and with the ship, it can suggest going somewhere. And the stars suggest that this is lovely, and it's maybe something that you've been wanting to do. Now, if it's not about travel, it's still great for moving past obstacles, and that's because the mountain can be associated with obstacles. But clearly, with the star and ship, you overcome this and you're able to move forward. Now, the garden and fox suggest a tricky group of people. The garden is a card of community. It's about society, networks, people, places. And the fox can be tricky. It can suggest someone who's deceptive, or there could be things going on behind the scenes. Now, it's also the card of jobs. So if this is about pursuing a job or getting a project or maybe landing a customer, they could be really great cards for this. Otherwise, in terms of relationships, and I would say Libra, in any context, the fox always calls for caution, and it's important that you be aware that maybe some people are playing against you, or they're not 100% honest, or they're selfish, and so on. So just be aware of certain types within this environment where you seem to be going, or where you seem to be involved with some projects. The flowers with the ship and scythe is quite interesting here. The flowers is a happy card. It brings success, healing, ambition, and a sense of enthusiasm. And certainly with the ship, this ambitious element is in focus. Now, the thing about the scythe is that it is a card of cutting and release. So it sounds like you could be changing directions, especially with something like the ship. So something could be interrupted and you could be going in a different direction. Now, I think the outer diamond here is helpful. We've got the mountain flowers and the fox and scythe. The way I'm seeing this, Libra, is that you could have gone for a certain project or going places, a certain place. But I think with the fox and scythe, you can find that something is not appropriate for you and you might cut off something short. And I have to say that this might be the right thing to do if you want to take better advantage of the opportunity or the trip or this exciting project that we're seeing. So I think it's going to be important, Libra, to get out of the way people who are not aligned with your projects and people who are not honest or not authentic. So get these out of the way so that you can enjoy the projects here. The star with the flowers, garden, and scythe is similar. The scythe and garden would suggest breaking away from a certain environment, and the star and flowers are the two brightest cards of your layout coming together here. So I think naysayers, people who are negative, anyone who's not aligned, or if this situation or this place is not appropriate, don't waste time, Libra. Make the change so you can take advantage of the opportunity. And if it means you need to change directions, then do that. Now, I think that it could also affect you in a bit of a negative way, but I still think you're in control and you're able to make the changes that you need to make in order to keep pursuing this lovely path and taking advantage of this opportunity. I also want to add, Libra, that these are good cards for creativity and for expressing yourself. And so in this sense, the fox and scythe could be people who don't really resonate with what you're trying to do. And that's fine, you know, but I think don't spend too much time with this situation. Make changes and adjust quickly so that you can keep your flow and your momentum going. Now, in terms of, you know, where this figures, I think it's kind of flexible. Like we said, this could be about your projects. If this is about a job, I think there can be some changes here. And maybe you are moved to a different place, to a different project, or maybe other people are. And it could be, to some extent, or in some cases, let's say, it could be a total job change. The scythe can be pretty radical, so that could be what's going on. Maybe you're changing jobs and you're moving into something else. That's possible. In terms of people, the cards are a little bit trickier. They're always a bit trickier. The fox and scythe, I mean, are always a bit trickier when it comes to people. So in this case, this is where we're saying that there could be some types that are not aligned with you, and this is where you might need to make changes. So don't get stuck with this, you know, don't dwell on it. If it's not working, it's not fitting, just make a change, Libra, and keep on going. Don't interrupt your momentum and your enthusiasm. You know, these are just little bumps in the way that you do not need to spend time on. So let me know what you make of these ideas. I really look forward to your thoughts on this one. What is it that you're pursuing? What was the element that you needed to get out of the way? I'd really be interested in your feedback and your perspective. So thanks for tuning in, Libra. Very best of luck with the week. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Scorpio. Let's do your extended line of 5 and let's see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Scorpio, here is your extended line, and we do have the whip in here, which is a challenging card, but the rest of the cards are kind of on the neutral side and they're kind of peaceful and more steady. So it's going to be interesting what the whip does in this situation. We have the tree in the middle, which is great for your sense of centeredness and your sense of being grounded. And I think this is going to be very helpful for you to deal with whatever the whip brings. Now, let's look at this line here, and we have the dog, and the dog is a relationship card. It's usually a friend, and the mountain can mean that it's someone abroad or online. Now, earlier we have the moon, ship, and tree, and with the dog and mountain, it's possible that you travel to spend some time with this person, or perhaps they do. These are peaceful cards. They're kind of bright, so probably this was something you were looking forward to, or you're happy to see this person. But I have to say, Scorpio, with the whip and a road on either side of the tree, there can be a change here. And the road, certainly with something like the whip, can suggest a parting. So it sounds like you go separate ways, or maybe this get together doesn't work out, or maybe it works out, but then something falls through and maybe it's not you don't have a great time. It's also possible that something external comes in the way and you're not able to spend as much time with this person. This too is possible. But certainly with the whip and road, there's a change, a parting, and usually as a result of an argument or a disagreement with someone. Now again, the tree and actually the moon is quite a peaceful card, and so it sounds like you won't take this in a difficult way. You won't take it to heart. It sounds like you can deal with it in a peaceful way. And in the very least as well, Scorpio, the tree advises you to have such an attitude. Now the ship with the whip, dog, and road is very clear about this, change of direction or disagreement with this person. The ship and whip, they point to the boat being rocked, problems, and certainly with the whip and road, there's like this parting. And we have the dog next to the whip as well, and the dog next to the road. So this separation and this parting is really clear in the cards. The moon with the whip, mountain, and road is similar. It's possible here that the trip doesn't work out, or it falls through, or there are problems, and it affects the whole thing. So it's a little bit challenging in this sense, Scorpio, where maybe things don't work out with this person to the extent that you thought. But again, there is also a lot of peaceful cards, like the moon with the tree and road, the ship and road, and this part here. So it seems that it helps you to deal with this situation. I don't know if you were expecting this to happen or you were waiting for something to play out. It's possible, but you certainly have a really nice attitude this week, and you seem to be really grounded, and the issues that come up don't affect you all that much, or maybe you have a really good perspective on them. And also, Scorpio, who the dog is it depends. It could be someone in your personal life, someone in your work life, or in some other area, but the idea seems to be that it falls through, or the project right now doesn't work out. Maybe it's between you and this person, you go separate ways, or perhaps the circumstances create problems and don't really allow for the connection to stick, or to, for you to pursue the projects with this person. So let me know what you make of these ideas, Scorpio. I look forward to your thoughts. I'm really curious how the whip played out. I'm also really curious about your peaceful attitude and how it's working with all of this. So leave me a thought or two if you're willing to share. Thank you for tuning in. Very best of luck with this. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Sagittarius, let's deal out your extended line of 5 and let's see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Sagittarius, here is your extended line of 5, and we have the beautiful sun right in the middle. It is an all-around card of success and wish fulfillment. It's great for healing. It's really an all-around positive card. At the top we have the snake, and it's the only challenging card in the layout. And again, maybe it is not so challenging. With the sun, it can suggest a more indirect approach, a more discreet approach to the situation. So what is the situation that is unfolding? Well, we have the child, which points to a new beginning, and we have the man at the end, which involves a relationship. The heart, child, and sun is beautiful for pursuing something new. This can be really exciting, and it sounds like it's something that you want. And the stork emphasizes the change, and the man can suggest someone who is involved in this new beginning. It can be a personal relationship. Maybe you're meeting someone new, and it can be a new project or a new job or a new something else in your life that is brought by the help of this man, or that somehow involves this person. So it sounds really exciting, and I would say, Sagittarius, it's a good idea to embrace this new beginning. Now, the snake with the sun and fish is quite an interesting triplet here, because the fish is a card of money, and with the snake, it's a nice combination. It suggests someone who is smart with money, who knows what they want, who knows how to get it. But on top of this, we have the sun. So this is lovely for financial success in general, Sagittarius. And with the snake, I would suggest that you keep this to yourself and you keep it under your hat. So I wouldn't share, especially the financial element. I would just be a bit more discreet about this. But it sounds like you can do really well financially. Now, if this is about work, then it makes sense. There's a new job or a new project or some kind of opportunity that brings with it a financial benefit or some other practical benefit. But if it's about a relationship, a personal relationship, then the fish can be a bit different, and especially with the snake, there can be a more sexual element at play. And so this can be a strong point or a fulfilling aspect of the relationship. So still positive, I would say. The child with the snake, stork, and fish, again, we see this new opportunity through the child and fish, this change through the child and stork. But again, the snake being a more cautious, a slower kind of card, the change can be a bit more gradual or perhaps a bit indirect in the way it materializes. But I still think you're going to take advantage of this. And the heart, snake, man, and fish is also a bit tricky because of the snake with the person card here. So like I said, I forgot what I was saying. Oh my God. The heart, snake, man, and fish can be a bit tricky, I have to say, Sagittarius, because the snake with relationship cards tends to be the card of deception and third parties. So there can be a love triangle of sorts. So this can be something that figures for you if this is a love reading. And so there can be some kind of triangle that is in the works for you or that you are part of. And which side of the triangle you are is flexible. It really depends on your situation. But again, more generally, Sagittarius, I would say that the snake suggests a bit more caution moving forward. And you sort of want to maybe keep some things to yourself as you embrace this new beginning. Obviously, you're at the start. Now, if this is more about work and money, I think these are really good cards because the fish is great with the snake, and the heart and fish is also lovely. But still, because of the snake and man, I would suggest, Sagittarius, that you take more time or that you be discreet with this person and certainly be diplomatic and tactful all throughout. Again, it's all part of this new beginning, and remember, the beautiful sun is right in the center, so it shines a lot of brightness on this new opportunity. I have to add one more thing, Sagittarius, is that the child and stork is classically the combination of pregnancy. So if this is about having a family or having a child, it can work out. And of course, this is a much more specific interpretation. It's probably not going to apply to everyone. There can be a need for caution with the snake and fish, but I still think that with the stork, and the sun in the middle, of course, it is a good opportunity, and it can work out if this is something that you want. So overall, a lovely spread with the beautiful sun in the middle, positive changes, new beginnings. There is a sense of prosperity and well-being, and also the relationship aspect is strong, but I would still maintain some level of caution with people. Let me know how this works out for you. I look forward to your thoughts and comments as always. Very best of luck with the week, Sagittarius. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Capricorn, let's do your extended line of 5 and let's see what is in store for you. Okay, Capricorn, here is your extended line of 5. It's looking really bright. We have the sun right in the middle, and we have the tree at the end here, which is a peaceful card. We do have the clouds and fogs here, which is a little bit tricky, but the sun, helps overcome this, but we'll see what role they play in this layout. Now, the mountain and rider can suggest a trip or some kind of message or news or communication with someone, and with the sun, house, and tree, it's looking really positive. These are really nice cards for visiting someone, being invited, or going places, and also to create a sense of well-being and peace. So it sounds like you could get some news that helps you establish yourself somewhere, or perhaps you feel good where you are, and you could be invited to spend some time with some people. And, it feels like a really nice and peaceful situation. So I would say, Capricorn, definitely take this up. At the same time, we have the clouds and fogs on either side of the sun, and these are tricky cards. The clouds can suggest confusion, tension, and the sun would easily overcome this. But the thing is that the line doesn't stop at the sun. We also have the fogs. And the fox tends to represent something that is deceptive. It can be a person who is deceptive or a bit, selfish or self-interested. It can also represent something like a scam. Now, because of the sun being so powerfully bright, I don't think these aspects of the fox are going to come through, and certainly the tension and the confusion can materialize, can be overcome through the powerfully positive energy of the sun. But there still remains a need to be careful and cautious. It's also possible, Capricorn, that the fox is someone who helps you with certain things. The fox can represent people like agents, assistants, worker types of people. So maybe this is someone who helps you clarify certain matters. So looking at the diamonds here, we have the Rider, Clouds, House, and Fox. Again, we see progress and movement thanks to the Rider, and the House is a card that is settled and established, but there seems to be some issues that need to be worked out. So this could be in relation to the trip or the forward movement and the progress that is in store for you this week, and that is fine. Keep moving forward, work out whatever needs to be worked out, and figure some things out. I also suspect, Capricorn, that there can be some people within your environment who are a bit more difficult to deal with, and maybe here it requires a bit of a different approach. With the mountain, clouds, tree, and fox, again, we're seeing some challenges here because of the clouds and also with the mountain and the fox. But the tree, especially at the end, is a calm card. It brings a sense of peace and establishment. So, take your time working through the issues, and also don't catch the ball, don't let it get to you in any way. We have the beautiful sun in the middle. You are in a positive space, and maybe there are some elements around you that are a bit more annoying or a bit more negative, but that doesn't mean that it has to affect you. And I think you're on your way through. You're in for being in a happy space here through the middle line. So whatever is part of the transition or in your surroundings that is not as bright and as positive as you are, just distance yourself from it and, let it go. It doesn't have to be part of your energy. So I think these are great cards for any context. They're good for work. They're good for relationships. They're good for any situation. There just is a few complications here that need to be worked out. But again, be peaceful, and you don't have to, get overly involved in it and be drawn into it and things like that. So maintain your peace, create some healthy boundaries, Capricorn, and pursue your goals. Let me know what you make of these ideas. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Thank you very much for tuning in. Very best of luck with the week again. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Aquarius, let's draw your extended line of 5 and let's see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Aquarius, here is your extended line of 5. And I have to say it's a really interesting combination of messages. We have a bit of a challenging aspect in the earlier side, but we have some really nice messages here. So that's a good thing. It's a good thing that the more challenging cards are on the left and the brighter ones are on the right, because it tells us that you overcome the challenges. Now, the road and coffin suggests the end of the road, and the clouds can be a bit stressful. Maybe this is upsetting you somehow. Maybe you don't want to close things off just now. It's also possible, Aquarius, that you need to, maybe someone has put something on hold and it sort of upsets you. Or, it can go both ways. Either you're ending something or someone else does or is putting it on hold, and that upsets you. But actually, the Bear and Heart are really nice cards. So it sounds like this is not going to be dramatic, and it can be temporary. It can also be a good thing. The Bear and Heart is about big feelings and happiness, and they can also be really exciting cards in terms of growth and success. So it's important, Aquarius, that you have confidence in yourself and that you let go of what you need to let go of, because it sounds like it can actually give you more energy and create more space for you. The fish with the clouds and star is also lovely. The fish and clouds normally suggest expenses and issues with money, but the star is an all-around healing card. So it sounds like you'll be able to overcome this soon enough, if not within the week, soon enough. It's also a good idea, Aquarius, that you make changes that can improve your status, that can improve your finances, and that can create more certainty in your life. So if this means, canceling some subscriptions or postponing purchases or avoiding them altogether, making changes like that in your financial life can be helpful, and I think it can give you a boost of confidence. Now, it doesn't have to be strictly about money, but I think it's more about your work, your career, and in general. So if it's not specifically about money, I still think these cards affect your work life as a whole. Now, the coffin with the fish, bear, and star, these are lovely cards for empowerment. The star with the bear and fish, this can be really good for your wealth, your empowerment, your work. You could, you could dominate in a certain area. You could get a promotion. You could be in a position of authority in some way or other. Now, the thing about the coffin earlier, it can mean a couple of things. First, in line with what we initially said, maybe letting go of something will enable you to embrace your power a bit more. That's possible. In another scenario or interpretation, the coffin suggests that you will need to wait a while longer for this to come. This too is possible. And another possibility, Aquarius, is that the bear represents someone else, someone whom you could rely on, someone supportive, who could offer you some kind of backing with your projects or support you through this ending that we see earlier. Now, the road with the fish, heart, and star is also a very beautiful combination. You're on the right track to success. You're on the right track to achieving your goals. It's great for your money, your finances, and also pursuing the things that make you happy. So you're on the right track across the board, Aquarius. You just need to be willing to let something go or make some changes, cancel certain things, postpone certain things so that you have, I feel that it creates more integrity for you. I feel that here it's like you were a little bit all over the place, or there were some things that are distracting you from the more stable, the more empowering position that we see here. So let go of certain things, Aquarius. Let them go so that you can bring yourself in a more wholesome kind of way, to have more integrity, to have more strength and power. These distractions, they're sort of eating away, they're taking away from your energy. So you want to let them go so that you can bring yourself together in a more powerful position. And I think this really applies to your work life, your money life, the practical areas of your life. It can be in terms of relationships. I can't really dismiss that. But in this sense, it's interesting that there seems to be a letting go or an ending. And this creates space for another relationship. That's possible. But what I also think is possible is that there was a time apart that seems to have been helpful. And this is maybe a gap that you're trying to bridge. And I think that too is possible. Because like I said, we have some really nice cards on this side, and these three cards here are a little bit challenging. So let me know what you make of these ideas, Aquarius. I certainly look forward to your thoughts and feedback about this. It's really an interesting dynamic, and I'd like to know how you resonated with them, how they played out in your specific situation. Thank you as always for tuning in. Very best of luck with the week, and until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Pisces, let's get into your weekly, your extended line of 5, and let's see what's in store for you this week. Okay, Pisces, here is your extended line of 5, and it's looking pretty bright, especially thanks to the beautiful star and the cards, and the rest of them are either positive or neutral. We have the cross in the middle, which can bring up an important decision or some important responsibilities that you have to attend to. The anchor with the star and cross is definitely about wish fulfillment and success and being on the right track. And the heart and moon really supports this because it brings happiness and a sense of well-being. So there can be some important signs, some important progress that puts things into alignment for you, and it can feel really good. Now, the garden with the cross and book can mean a few different things. The cross and book normally suggests spirituality, and so maybe this is an area that you are pursuing, and if that's the case, it looks like there's a group of people here that you could be involved with, and because of the beautiful middle line, it looks to be supportive and happy for you. And the cross is also a card of decisions. And with the book, you might need to do some research. You need to weigh things out. You need to maybe consult others. You need to make some decisions. So this can draw your attention. And in this sense, I have to say, Pisces, that the cards are a bit more serious. But there are some really beautiful messages here. So you want to pursue this. You want to assess whatever you need to assess. And do the research, because it can pay off really well. Now, there is another way we can look at the garden, and that is in terms of being more social, being connected with others. And that's because the garden is a card of community, people, and places. So with the cross and book, maybe you are going to explore a place, or you have to, and you need to figure things out in that place. Again, these lovely cards suggest that there can be some really good connections here. And we see this through the diamonds. So the inner diamond is the star, garden, heart, and book. And this could be a really nice revelation, a really happy surprise. They can be some really nice people or a pleasant person. And there can be some feelings, I have to say. If this is more romantic, the book and heart can suggest unrevealed feelings. So that can be exciting. The anchor with the garden, moon, and book can actually be an offer or an invitation. You could be establishing yourself within a place, or you could land in a place that is supportive. You could also get an offer through the moon and book. And I think this is probably part of what you evaluate as well. So these are really nice cards, Pisces, but I have to say that things are still in progress. So the cross with the book, they really seem to focus on this element of testing, assessing, and exploring in this context. And so I think that you're still in the exploring phase. But I do think that there is a lovely element that opens up here, and I think it aligns really well with your goals, your direction, and the things that you want to do. I think creativity is also highlighted. It's a good opportunity to share what you've got, to get feedback, to put it out there, and to go with it. So really nice cards across the board, and I think they're great for all contexts, whether it's work, creativity, or relationships in general. Let me know what you make of these ideas, Pisces. I'm really interested to know how you resonated with them. I'm curious about the cross and book and how this played out for you. It's always interesting to see the variety of experiences that resonate with the cards. So thanks for tuning in, Pisces. As always, very best of luck with the week. And until next time, take very good care of yourself.